Estate Producer Show. I'm Kara, and I'm here with Rocz from Remax Nexus and Tanis from Mike from Hall Financial. Welcome, everyone. So before we start, I feel like I have to just say that this interview, we got the mics, we got the cameras, might be like right up your alley. So your dad he did voiceovers for how many years?
As long as I can remember. I grew up that way.
Really? Okay, awesome. So I feel like this might be in your blood. So I had to say that. And speaking of your family, we have to show a picture of someone that absolutely dominates your social media, and we need to hear a little bit more about. So we're going to pull up a picture here.
Uh-oh.
So who is this?
This is Scarlett.
Hello,
my goodness,
Scarlett.
look at this. Yeah, this is my Scarlett. This is my third girl. I have two daughters, and then Scarlett, who greets me very happy at the end of the day, and she runs up, and she's the mascot, basically, of the house and our office, too.
And yeah, that's what I heard, too,
Yeah.
your office as well. So we had to mention it.
Because there's more pictures of Scarlett on your social media than your actual daughters,
Believe
I think.
me, I hear that, especially from my daughters. They recognize that she gets more attention than maybe they realize. So.
Well, I'm sure that everyone does, but she's awesome too.
Thank you.
So aside from the family life, getting into business here, how did you get into real estate?
I grew up around real estate. My mom opened up a real estate company when I was 4 years old, and she built and developed a couple apartment complexes, and I grew up being around that life. And then she married a commercial developer, and from there I just grew up from between job sites and different things that they had going on. And it also dictated where I lived over the course of my life. We were living in Florida at one time, and then when the market collapsed in Houston, we moved to the Houston market, and they had a portfolio of property for a lender that was both residential and commercial. And so we spent a great many years in Houston while we were selling, or while they were selling, I said me automatically. And then when Hurricane Andrew hit South Florida, that kind of took us to South Florida with the rebuilding of that. So real estate has always kind of dictated where I lived over the course of my life.
So you followed whatever market
Well,
was.
my parents went, and as a child I followed, but I got to witness a lot of that. So yeah, growing up in the industry.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so when did you decide to start your own brokerage?
Well, after being a real estate professional for many years, looking for what I wanted or what I felt was required in the market, I just needed a place to house my team to be as productive and supportive as it could be, and I just felt like there was something missing. So I went on the search for the perfect place to house my team, and I couldn't find it. So my dad made me listen to Earl Nightingale growing up, and said the people that get on in the world are the ones that make look for the situations that they want. If they can't find them, then they make them. So I decided to open up my own brokerage, and that was the founding principles of it.
I love that. You did it yourself. That's incredible.
So Ron, being the broker now, how do you navigate, and how are you coaching your team to deal with like the sharp turns that the market keeps taking? We had one sharp turn when COVID began, then another one, and now again, things are changing again. So how are you coaching the team right now?
Oh, didn't notice sharp turns. People always need a place to live. That's one of the things, right? Like, you're gonna go home, you're gonna sleep someplace, and so there's always a market for people when they need to buy and sell. It's just a matter of stopping and pausing and taking a look ahead and seeing what's out there in the market and preparing them for. It's a fluid market. Sometimes the inventory is up, sometimes the interest rates are low, sometimes the interest rates are starting to come back up, but they're still historically low. And it's just giving them a frame of perspective after being around so many different markets over the years. I've been personally selling real estate for almost 20 years, but being around it for well over 40 years, there's been a lot of highs and lows, and this too shall pass, and it just continues to take what it'll take. And we just show up for our clients and show up for our agents, and our agents are our clients. We make sure that we cover them and give them the best advice that we can.
There are agents, though, that, on your team, on everyone's team, that haven't seen rates above 5 before. So how are they dealing with that?
Oh, it's just a matter of reminding them that, the 40-year average on an interest rate is still 9% or something. So we're even if we get to 6%, we're still 2/3 of where the average was. Of course, I'm not going to be that person that says, well, I remember when I used to walk up hill and snow both ways and it was 18%, because I don't. But it's just reminding them that 5% in the fives is still extremely attractive. And you can buy now, and if they go back down, refinance.
Yep.
But if
Yeah,
you
it's
need a place, you need a
definitely
place. So
And
Well said.
how do you think that the mentality of the seller has changed in the last 2 years?
well, I think that I think some of the sellers today are still expecting the market to be moving as fast. Maybe not I think that there's the early adopters and then there's some laggers. And I think that the laggards are starting to realize that the market, while it's still moving fast, we still have multiple offers. We still have to coach our agents on how to win. It's not really the same as it was even a couple months ago.
Right.
And also depending on the price point. The first time price points are typically moving a lot faster. I had just mentioned that's one of our agents, and they said, as millennials, and these were her words, as millennials are, looking to move out of, the parents' home or whatever their housing situation is, they're having a hard time finding a place. Mm-hmm. And it's only 1/3 of the buyers that are first-time buyers, but, it's the price point as it goes up, there's probably fewer instances as many multiple offers. But we recently had one that was, in the $700,000 range, and there was 15 offers. So,
Wow.
Do the first-time home buyers, do they notice the interest rate has changed, or they have nothing to really compare it to, so they're just moving forward? Is it slowing them down at all?
They realized that their friends had mentioned that they got a 2.7%, last year, and when they realized that they're, almost significantly higher today, you hear a lot of dialogue like, I'm going to wait, or if they go into the fives, I'm not going to buy, So, everybody wishes they could go back, but there's, only so many things that are in our control, right?
So when a client does say, I want to wait because interest rates are high right now and I'm just going to wait, what do you tell a client at that point?
Well, it depends on their individual circumstances. We tell all of our clients, look, when you're ready, we're ready, because we don't look at it as a transaction. We look at it as a relationship and when it makes the most sense. But if you need to buy today, we're here for you today. Mm-hmm. But if you want to rent, let's talk about interest rates there. You're paying 100% interest on rentals. 5% sounds pretty attractive in an appreciating market. So something along those lines would probably make sense.
That perspective is interesting. I like that.
It just takes perspective to give somebody a frame of reference. So.
Yeah, and let's talk about open houses. How do your agents prepare a seller for an open house?
It depends on the seller's circumstances. If the property is a vacant property or if they're occupying it, we still would encourage our sellers to put their best foot forward and realize that it is still fiercely competitive. So the best possible scenario, whether it's just getting it up and running for the initial listing, is to get the photography, get everything together, get the property highlighted, and then take a nice long weekend trip. Go up north. Give us your property for, a first long weekend to do what we do best. And if we do what we do best and you get the property ready as the seller, then maybe when you come back over the weekend, on Monday, we'll have an offer to discuss. And that seems to be a very effective game plan.
So do you ever have any clients that resist having an open house? And is that an issue? Is an open house always the best route to go and it's recommended? How do you deal with someone that might not want to do an open house?
Well, on HGTV, it seems like that's how they always sell houses, with open houses, right? And we don't have to do open houses to sell the house. As a matter of fact, a lot of the people coming through the open, if somebody is sincerely interested in a home, they're going to seek that home out and make an appointment to see it, with their realtor. However, for the people that want to, with technology, we can basically have a 24/7 open house where we do 3D tours and Matterports and dollhouse renderings of property. And, the way that those are shot, somebody can put on Oculus or Samsung gear and actually stand inside the property, walk through the property, look up and down and see all the elements like they are doing an open house. So do we do open houses? Yeah, since we do pretty advanced marketing, it's pretty much open 24/7 without somebody having to vacate. But if we're going to do a an actual open house, we would like to prepare for that, market it in advance, do some social media to promote it, and get as many people through as possible.
So
Hey,
there's
Ron, when you
options
suggest
either
that
way.
long weekend, what's your favorite Michigan destination?
Up north is an obvious, right? Like, so get away if they have kids. Sometimes if it's in the winter, early spring, maybe go to Kalahari or something along those lines. Just, get away, forget about that. That way you don't have to worry about putting the dishes away and, putting the towels out. Just get it set to go and go someplace that's super convenient.
So wherever your up north is.
Yeah, or, go to, get a hotel someplace if it's, just go enjoy something. Go to a spa.
A
Such a
staycation,
Michigan
I like
term.
it.
Staycation.
Yeah.
A very much so Michigan term. So
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to get into, again, your leadership at your brokerage. I know that we talked a little bit how you're coaching your agents now, but another huge philosophy or, I should say philosophy that you have right now is you really mentor new agents. And sometimes that's not always, for any business, hiring someone new with no experience it has its own challenging. So why is mentoring new agents so important to you and your team?
It probably just goes back to when I got in the business. I wanted to jump in, especially with the brand that I was at, and a lot of real estate companies didn't embrace new agents as much. They said, "We don't work with new agents, kid. Go some other place." And when I got in and did well, I realized what we did as a profession. It is a sales profession. It's a job. We have to handle objections. We have to find somebody a product. We have to make sure it fits their needs. And we figured that we could teach the steps more effectively than teach somebody how to be a good human. So by finding great humans and that had a desire to be successful in this industry, we figured it was easier to teach them about the business. And that was really what we built our company on, by finding new agents and training them the way that we thought they should be taught, and it seemed to work for us. The average production was quite a bit higher by teaching them from the ground up. No bad habits, really.
Yeah, that's true. And I definitely think that's refreshing to hear. And I think that mentality of your running your team in that way definitely translates to clients as well, because mentoring someone is not always the most convenient thing. And what we like to say at Hall Financial is what's right is mostly inconvenient. And so I think that's huge that it translates to your clients, because you're always going to do the right thing for them. You would mention that it's more about the relationship, and if they're not ready to have a transaction right now and buy a home or sell their home, then you're ready for them in the future. And I think that definitely goes hand in hand as well. So thank you for being on today. Do you have any other closing thoughts or advice, anything at all?
Any characteristic that you really look for in a new agent when someone's getting into the business that you think this is a home run, this person's going to do well because they have this going for them?
No, just a strong desire to be successful and be willing to do what it takes to show up. And showing up is really a great deal of it, like being physically on site, engaging in the process, understanding that the journey's the destination, and having to learn more about what this industry is about. I mean, it can be life-changing. All the reasons that people want to get in, it truly exists. I mean, there is an unlimited amount of income. There's plenty of opportunity. There's growth. There's investment opportunities. There's a world of opportunity within the real estate arena. And I just want to remind everybody, all those reasons that attracted them to get into the industry, it's there. It's not easy, but if you apply yourself, you will be successful. We say that the Grand Canyon wasn't cut from force, it was persistence. So it's just showing up and making sure that you stay focused on being successful and
So
aligning yourself with
PSA,
the
the
tools.
real estate industry is not dead. Tons of opportunities still.
Oh, yeah.
And especially when someone has a mentor like you, you're going to be successful.
That's
So
very kind. Thank you.
yes, of course. Well, thank you so much for being on today. It was a pleasure speaking with you. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.